The effectiveness of the utilization of mathematical pyramid media on academic achievement of students in mathematics education study program. Abstract. The study aims to see the effectiveness of the use of mathematical pyramid media in learning media courses to improve the academic achievement of fourth semester students of the Mathematics Education Study Program FKIP-UNA academic year 2019-2020. The sample of this research is two classes, namely class 4th A as experimental class and class 4th B as control class. The pretest mean value of the experimental class 64.82 with the highest value of 82 and the lowest score of 46. The pretest value of the control class 61.48 with the highest value of 78 with the lowest score of 42. From the pretest homogeneity test, there was no difference in variance or the two samples homogeneous where F count less than F table 1.86. From the pretest data normality test, it was obtained that LO for the experimental class 0.1274 and LO for the control class 0.117. For the post-test data, it's obtained LO for the experimental class 0.1587 and LO for the control class 0.1082. The value of LO is smaller than L table 0.161, so it can be concluded the data is normally distributed. The average post-test score of the experimental class 87.9 with the highest score of 90 and the lowest score of 63, while for the control class the average post-test score 80.6 with the highest score of 90 and the lowest score of 54 is 2.11 greater than T-table is 2.01, which means that HA is accepted, namely the average academic achievement of student TAF by utilizing mathematical pyramid media is better than the average data of student TAF without utilizing mathematical pyramid media. Keyword: effectiveness, mathematical pyramid media, students' academic achievement. Introduction. The media in these activities serve as information stimulus presenters. Attitudes are also to increase success in receiving information. The media also function to regulate progress steps and to provide feedback and the teaching and learning process. By using learning media, it does not seem boring to students because students do not only listen to lectures but by using learning media, students will be more interested in the lessons delivered and students will be motivated to learn and clarify and simplify abstract concepts and increase absorption or retention of learning. The Learning Media Development Program for students is one way that students can overcome the saturation of learning in the classroom, so that students are expected to have the competence in the level developing media that is in accordance with the changes and challenges of the time. Research method. This type of the research is a quasi-experimental research, namely, the effectiveness of using mathematical pyramid media on students' academic abilities with the scores and grade obtained by students after being given a test at the end of the experiment. To obtain data on academic achievement, the researcher used data collection techniques in the form of a final test, which was carried at the end of the experiment, which was taken from the national exam question on algebra material. The test form is multiple choice. If correct, get a score of 1, and if wrong, get a score of 0. Treatment of the experimental group and the control group. Look at the picture number 1. Analysis and result. The results of the research in the experimental group and the control group came from the same initial condition, namely after the normality and homogeneity tests were carried, which show that the samples were normally distributed and there was no difference in variance. Then the two mean similarity test was carried, which showed that the samples had the equivalent. The experimental group was given learning treatment using mathematical pyramid media, while in the control group was given learning treatment without utilizing mathematical pyramid media. After the treatment of the two classes is carried, the test is carried. The test has been tested before in the trial class by testing the validity, reliability test, differentiation, and difficulty level of the question items. The results obtained are that the test is reliable and the item meets the item validity. Based on the data obtained, it can be seen that the average value of student academic achievement taught using learning by utilizing mathematical pyramid media in algebra 89.18 is higher than the average value of student mathematics academic achievement taught using learning models without using mathematical pyramid media, namely 78.37. The results show that by utilizing the mathematical pyramid academic achievement of students of mathematics education study programs was effective. This is possibly influenced by, first, by posing problem from students themselves. It will educate students to think critically. Second, by making students group active in learning. The third, differences of opinion between students can be identified so that they are easily directed to healthy discussion. Number 4, solving problems that students create themselves will teach students to analyze a problem. Fifth, presenting the result of the discussion to educate students to be more confident. Conclusion. Based on the results of the study, it was found that the pre-test mean score of the experimental class 64 0.82, with the highest value was 82 and the lowest score was 46. The previous score for the control class 61.48, with the highest score was 78 with the lowest score 42. From the pretest homogeneity test, there was no difference in the variance or two homogeneous samples where F count less than F table 1.87. From the pretest data normality test obtained LO for the experimental class 0.1273 and LO for the control class 0.118. For post-test data, it's obtained that LO for the experimental class 0.1588 and LO for the control class 0.1083. The value of LO is smaller than L table 0.162, so it can be concluded that the data is normally distributed. The post-test average score of the experimental class 87.9 with the highest score of 89 and the lowest score of 62, while for the control class the average post-test score 80.7 with the highest score of 88 and the lowest score of 52. From the t-test, it was obtained t-count is 2.11 greater than t-table is 2.01, which means HA accepted. Namely, the average academic achievement of students who are taught by utilizing mathematical pyramid media, which is more effective than the average student data being taught without utilizing mathematical pyramid media. From the results of the data analysis carried out in the study, it can be concluded that learning by utilizing the mathematical pyramid media later. Students understand better in algebra material because students are more active in learning process and can foster critical thinking, showing a higher average in the experimental class while the average in the control class is lower.